Mike Antonellis on the Sea Dogs pregame show and SeaDogs.com, joined by Portland pitcher Drake Britton, who's had 2 consecutive wins against the Erie Seawolves. And first of all, what is it like facing a team back-to-back?
It's kind of fun, especially when you're coming off a good outing, against them the first time. But, just like we talked about, sometimes the hitter seeing you more, they can make adjustments. So I had to play a little bit more of that cat and mouse game with them this past outing yesterday. But I feel great. I feel like I kept them off balance, and we got a great win against them.
June 5th at Jerrywood Park, Drake went 8 innings, scoreless, 1 hit, had 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Him and I talked a couple hours ago. Does a pitcher have an advantage the second time around, or is it the hitters, or is it maybe different case for different points and different people, different pitchers? But you said the hitters do ultimately have the advantage.
Yeah, I think if you ask any pitcher, they might say that. But for us, looking at it, we face each other the same amount, of times, but the hitter knows what you have, and he can always make an adjustment to the pitches that you're throwing. So we have to identify an adjustment that they're making, and then we have to make the same or a different one as well to try and pitch against them. I think it's easier for a hitter to make a quicker adjustment than pitchers, but if you can make an adjustment against them, usually works out in your favor.
Last night, complete game shutout. Game 1 of a doubleheader. I mean, that was outstanding. 2 great outings against one team, but you really seem to be locked in again with your slider.
I feel really good about it right now. I've been working, all season already to sharpen it up and try to throw more strikes at it. But I feel like I'm in a good place throwing it with my secondary stuff, so I feel great with it at any point in time, any point in the count.
Have you noticed that when you're at this level for a little bit, that having that secondary pitch is what can separate you?
Absolutely. Having a good secondary pitch to throw off your fastball ultimately, get you deeper into games and get you, more off-balance swings. And it's very vital to have that secondary pitch because you can only go so long just throwing a fastball.
Drake Britton is our guest here on the pregame show and SeaDogs.com. Your year's kind of changed. So what has been the big difference? Has it been your slider and secondary stuff?
I think it's just been more of a mental thing for me. I've always heard, in the past 2.5 years, when I've struggled mentally, that my stuff's always been there.
Yeah.
But it's just the mental aspect. After sitting down and talking with Bolsey and Kip about some of the struggles I was going through, and then sitting down with Pedro the 2 days later and just going about like my mental game, I just need to be more relaxed and more free out on the mound rather than worrying about, what's going to happen in this certain situation. So just having that mindset and just keeping it loose while I'm pitching has ultimately, hopefully, I turned the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that everyone says when you're unhittable. I mean, I know that might be some pressure sometimes, but we have seen when you're locked in, you're a tough guy to hit.
I'm glad people see it that way, and it definitely, the last couple outings I've thrown, I've actually gotten to see it, from a first hand. But I just feel great mentally. I'm confident. I'm just ready for every 5 days to go out there and compete and battle and do the best that I can to give our team the best opportunity to win.
Drake Britton joining us here. Talk about the staff and the guys that you're with in the rotation. You guys seem to have a good bond.
Absolutely, man. It's unbelievable. We got a bunch of great arms here. We're all feed off one another. If one of us is struggling, pick that guy up. Pick him up, throw into the game behind him, get us a win. But we all kind of feed off each other, and that's what ultimately I think makes us a winning team. Just to have the Matt Barnes, Anthony Renato. We had Brandon Workman here for a while. We got Charlie Hager. All the arms we have in the bullpen are just been phenomenal, and I think we have the best pitching staff in this league.
So who was the loudest amongst when Brandon was here? It's Renato, right? Is he the loudest of the 4? Does he talk the most?
That would be Workman.
That'd
definitely be Workman. 100%.
You're the quietest, I think.
I think I'm pretty quiet. Yeah. Until they start, I start getting carried away and getting amped up and stuff. But Workman's definitely the loudest. Him and Renato, they're hilarious together. Yeah, it's so funny. We all live together.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. But Workman was definitely. I really don't know who's the loudest now.
Yeah, we'll have to see on the next trip.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the clubhouse aspect of baseball, I don't think it's underrated. People probably who are in it understand it. There's a special dynamic in there. I know Matt Spring's a big part of it, but it's just something fun.
Matt Spring is the leader of our troops that we have in that locker room. He runs stuff in there, and we love it. We love having him, be loud, and, he just keeps it light. But, I just think our team just clicks together. We're having a great time. We're playing well. you don't really see that too often, to have a clubhouse like we do in there. It's very special, and it's a lot of fun for us.
And it probably helps as you guys move up. If you get to the big leagues together, well, you've been doing this for a while with each other, and I think that's a nice thing.
Absolutely. I feel like it makes it easier to compete. It makes it easier, to have that team chemistry and that team bond, for sure. Absolutely.
You brought up Pedro Martinez, who was in here. We had a chance to talk to him. What a great person. I think that was the best thing I took from having him on our pregame, was just that he's a good guy.
Absolutely. He is amazing. Have a guy like that that's going to be in the Hall of Fame is just it's Pedro Martinez. Everybody knows who Pedro, Martinez is, but he's a real laid back and just a really nice, genuine person. But to have, that along with all the wisdom he has of baseball and all the knowledge he has, of the game, and for me to get a chance to sit down and talk with him for a while was such an amazing experience for me.
Final thing, take us what you do in between starts. I mean, it's a complicated thing. It's not just sitting in the dugout for 4 days, but there's a lot that goes on in between starts.
Definitely. The day after you pitch, I like to come in early to the field, where I get here early every day. But you have a lower body lift legs, and then you have distance running, and then you got to do the bucket if there's BP. You got a chart, which that's not very fun. Day 2, you throw a bullpen and do a upper body lift. Day 3, there's like a short circuit leg workout again. And then day 4, you just have sprints. I like to throw a front toss, like 10, 12 pitches off the mound. And then day 5, it's time to get after it.
All right. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Drake Britton, our guest on the pregame show on CDogs.com.